Well, good morning. We are starting things off with some breaking news on this Monday morning. President Joe Biden making a surprise visit to Ukraine.
So the historic visit comes just days before the one-year anniversary of the invasion of Ukraine from Russian forces. Earlier this morning, the president was greeted by Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky and the country's first lady. This trip to Kyiv marks the first time in modern history that a sitting U.S. president has entered a war zone where there is not an active presence of American troops.
Mr. President, I'm delighted to be able to repay your visit to our country. In Washington, not long ago you told the Congress, quote, "We have no fear, nor should any in the world have it," end of quote. You and all Ukrainians, Mr. President, remind the world every single day what the meaning of the word courage is.
The president announced an additional $500 million in U.S. assistance. He's also expected to visit Poland later today as well. This comes as House Republicans call for a stop to monetary support for Ukraine, saying the U.S. is offering a blank check for the war overseas. The United Nations is estimating over 7,000 civilians have been killed during the war.
Weather-wise on this Monday morning, today is going to be mild, but the rest of the week, we are expecting lots of winter weather impacts, and it's going to start with the winds, and we already are feeling the winds start to get to those breezy thresholds, but they'll only increase in terms of their speeds throughout the day today, and we are under wind advisories in Spokane and high wind warnings for Pullman and the Palouse, as the strongest winds are likely going to be after 7 o'clock tonight and up to 60 miles per hour. And that is severe enough to do tree damage or perhaps cause power outages. But at least today will be mild before the winter weather comes into play.
Now, as we anticipate snow tomorrow, we want to revisit what you can do to keep your car ready for the winter.
Well, first, watch your tire pressure. Make sure your antifreeze and other fluids are topped off. And it is so important that those are rated for below zero temperatures, especially in this region. And don't forget to warm up your car before you drive. It's not only helpful for your car, but also, of course, your comfort as a driver.
Now, here are a few more tips that you should keep in mind with the cold weather in play over the next few days. Use de-icer to melt ice on any sidewalks and especially on your driveway. Cover any exposed faucets that are outside your home. And it's also a good idea to have some extra groceries and supplies on hand just in case of any power outages.
Well, today is President's Day, and there's a few closings around town we want to make you aware of. All Spokane libraries are closed. The city facilities in Coeur d'Alene are closed as well. In both Spokane and Coeur d'Alene, garbage and recycling on its normal schedule. And it's also a parking holiday, so that means you won't need to pay for on-street parking in downtown Spokane. Well, this morning, former President Jimmy Carter is receiving hospice care at his home in Georgia.
After a series of short hospital stays, the 98-year-old decided to forego further medical care to spend his remaining time at home with his family. Now, Carter is the longest living president in American history. He served one term in the White House after defeating incumbent Gerald Ford. After his presidency, he built homes for Habitat for Humanity and established the Carter Center, an organization dedicated to human rights. In 2002, Carter was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for his work in the Middle East and Third World nations. Members of Carter's church in Plains, Georgia, honored him in their service yesterday. Carter taught Sunday school there for decades after leaving the presidency in 1981.
Even on the biggest platform in the world as the commander-in-chief, he still cared about Mr. Anybody, just little person. He cared about people that much where he wanted to talk about your vacation or how your family was doing. He didn't want to talk about worldly politics and things like that. And so we really learned a lesson from him of even on the biggest stage, you can still be the best person even when not everybody sees that.
Now, following the news, tributes poured in on social media. From President Joe Biden, he tweeted saying, "May you continue your journey with grace and dignity, and God grant you peace." And Georgia Senator Reverend Raphael Warnock called Carter a man of great faith, saying God is surely walking with him in this tender time of transitioning. We'll have a look at the Carter family's connection to Idaho coming up in our next half hour on Up with KREM. Well, it's tax season, and you probably just received your property tax statements in the mail. Now, in Idaho, the state is making it easier for some of their residents to get some relief. So this morning, our Nicole Hernandez is joining us live from North Idaho right now. Nicole, can you tell us more about what's new for Idaho residents?
So Channing, now Idaho residents can actually apply for property tax relief either right on their phones or their computers online. This is new this year specifically. That's because the state of Idaho put their property tax relief program online this year. Now the program brings down the property taxes up to $1,500 for some residents. Before this year you had to apply with a paper application, but now it's online. So here's a look at who might be eligible for this property tax reduction. Anyone 65 or older, anyone who makes less than $33,800, former prisoner of war people, motherless or fatherless minors, people who are blind or disabled, and anyone who is a widow. Home and landowners though do need to apply for this program by April 18th. That is the deadline, and this is something that you have to apply for every single year, even if it's something you've been eligible for in the past. In Coeur d'Alene, Nicole Hernandez, KREM 2 News.
It's 7:07. Let's take a look at your morning rush. More news in less time. A Gonzaga University student died in a car crash near Ritzville over the weekend. The Washington State Patrol identified 18-year-old Diego Garza of Lakewood as the victim. Gonzaga's president says Garza was a junior studying business administration. A community-wide prayer service is scheduled for tomorrow at noon. The Magnolia Street pedestrian bridge is officially gone. Crews completed the second phase of the demolition on Saturday night after starting the removal earlier this month. The bridge was originally supposed to be replaced with the construction of the North Spokane corridor, but was instead taken down because of damage and structural problems discovered earlier this year. Some rural areas in Spokane County will soon have access to high-speed internet. Last Friday, Spokane County entered a contract agreement with Comcast and Terra to expand broadband internet in Chattaroy and Medical Lake. The County Board of Commissioners approved $3 million from the Federal American Rescue Plan Act for the project last summer.